Welcome, Capricorn, to your in-depth monthly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for April 2026 for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the month first, then on screen the event chart as we go into April. It's always influential as a backdrop. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of energy, work, relationships, and finance. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now. It's going to be a month when how you feel about things comes very sharply into focus, but it's also going to be a month with fantastic opportunities to make some physical changes to where you live. But as we come into April, Capricorn, there's still a lot of energy in the part of your chart to do with quick communication, though that has been blurred recently by Mercury's retrograde. But there's some really positive developments through the first 2 weeks that I can't wait to share with you. Now, we are going to have a new moon on the 17th. And if there is some sensitive issues from your past around your family life, your emotions, where you live, it is a great opportunity to work with the healing power of Chiron. But then on the 20th, the sun moves into your fellow Earth sign of Capricorn, joining up momentarily with the glorious Venus. And that really gives you a chance in the last 10 days to be that much more social. But then, just as we get into the end of the month, both Venus and Uranus move. In the case of Uranus, it's for the next 7 years. You may recall for 4 short months last year, Uranus made its way into the part of your scope to do with practicalities. Well, it's returning there for the next 7 years. And that gives you the chance to bring your very business-like skills to life, but in perhaps some different and enlightening ways. Can't wait to share that with you too. So on the screen, Capricorn, is your event chart. Now, as ever, we need to be mindful of the sun and the moon, the two luminaries, and your ruler. But the moon happens to be the most northerly player in your chart. That means it's going to be influential this month. And that means, therefore, how you feel, emotions, could be closer to the surface. But I don't want you to see that as a negative. The moon also forges a stunning alliance with Uranus. Now, you've surprised people over the last 7 years, at times, I feel, by being quite spontaneous around your social life, perhaps even romance, but certainly around your ideas. You can be very thorough, you can be very step by step and highly determined and applied in your approach, but you have brought some greater flair to bear. And that sparkling link between Uranus and the moon at the start of the month suggests there can be more of that this month. Now, I mentioned about the energy in your third house, quick communication, and one of the players there is Mercury. Now, Mercury has, of course, been in a retrograde for 3 weeks, but it's also in a sign that it does flounder in because it's a water sign, but it's starting this month in a fabulous link with Jupiter. Jupiter is about potential, it's a growth influence, it can be about luck, it's in your sector of relating, and there may be, I think, throughout this month, some very powerful conversations as long as they feel right. So that's really the theme all through. Also, Mars, which has been in this third house, has made you restless, but perhaps had a desire to share some ideas, even if Mercury was inhibiting that. Right through to the ninth, Mars is going to be linking to Uranus. So if you have got different ideas, you can put them forwards with a lot of vigor, enthusiasm, and flair. But on the second, we do have a full moon. And for you, that full moon occurs in the 10th house. Again, suggesting your emotions can be close to the surface. But however much you may want or need to focus on the foundational part of your life, where you live, how you live, who with, how things feel, family issues, perhaps even family politics, the moon suggests there could be some more worldly considerations to take into account. But just be aware of Venus, because just at the end of March, Venus moved into the delicious fifth house and can bring some rather playful or even flirty moments this month. And it could also give you the confidence to perhaps revise your personal appearance in a more glamorous way. But Venus does come into a square with Pluto through the first week. There could be someone you encounter early on this month, Capricorn, that you find very, very alluring, and it may be difficult to resist. Equally, you may find that your creative ideas give you the chance to earn some extra money, but just watch if you're discussing finances. Someone may not show their true intentions or motives because Venus and Pluto often brings up some power plays. But Venus here certainly can give you some extra sparkle in terms of the social dimension and that third house energy too. But lurking beneath it all is that fourth house vibe. And when I say lurking, it's because Neptune can be quite disguising, Saturn can be quite cool and perhaps a little reserved, but the Sun, once it breaks free from that full moon, is going to push you really to be more in touch with how you feel, but own it. But then on the 9th, Mars followed by Mercury on the 15th move into this fourth house. Now, Mars in the fourth house can see our emotions a little bit up and down, and we can be a bit grumpy, a bit reactive. And just be aware when he reaches Neptune and then Saturn, there could be a tense exchange within your family or emotional life. But intriguingly, Mars actually links back to Pluto. And that's why I feel if you are doing any kind of renovation, Mars can actually give you the drive, but also the physical determination to put in that new bathroom suite or to do some redecorating. You're going to be very fired up to make that improvement to your abode. But also, once Mars gets past those two, followed by Mercury, it's also going to be free to just give you an opportunity to think more about how things feel, which, if you remember, is what I feel is the overwhelming theme for this month. So you can see there's plenty of opportunities for romance, social interaction, perhaps a bit of flirting, but it all needs to feel right. Will you go against that inner voice? I think we've all done it at some stage, haven't we? Where we, I don't know, see an item that we think, oh, that's really nice. And there's a little bell in the back of our mind saying, do you really need this? And it's, yes, 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 I want it now. We get it, and then it doesn't have any functional value, or it's a bit more than we could really afford. And perhaps the way that shows itself most powerfully in our lives is around relationships. So that's where having your ruler in your fourth house for the next 2 years is constantly going to be reminding you of not going beyond what feels right, but you could be tempted this month. But on the 17th, there's a new moon, and it's a new moon in a conjunction with Chiron. And as I mentioned in the introduction, if there has been some painful events in your life, it might go all the way back to your childhood. There may be have been a loss, a separation. It's possible around your love life more recently. The combination of the new moon and Chiron, it's really asking you to forgive yourself, but perhaps also forgive the other person to some degree, which is, we all know, not always easy. But that's what Chiron can help us to do, release, because the fourth house is an energetic uh, dimension which lies within us. It's about emotion. And it's surprising when we do share how we feel or do think about something in a way that changes how we feel lighter. And that may be an opportunity you have. But the sun's movement into Taurus on the 20th is lovely, and it can bring in a more obviously social opportunity towards the end of this month. But it too, like Venus before it, goes into the square with Pluto. Because the fifth house can be about speculation, and the sun may give you the confidence to do something. That link with Pluto, which can be about desire and compulsion, even perhaps a desire for something that's not very good for us, just be conscious of that towards the end of the month. But then Venus moves into Gemini, where it's flirty, bright, vivacious, but also followed by Uranus. If in your work you're not really feeling that it's as varied and interesting and stimulating as it could be, Uranus gives you the chance over the next 7 years to change that. But then again, if you are someone who tends to have quite rigid life structures, Uranus could challenge that. Maybe not always in an intentional way. It could just be circumstances, make things a little bit more spontaneous, perhaps even to the point of being slightly chaotic. But usually Capricorn people are pretty organized. So that's going to be intriguing. But if you're not enjoying your job at the moment, I think you will change it in the years to come. Then again, you could find yourself thinking about new approaches to diet, health, fitness, and all sorts. And all of that's very much to the fore at the end of the month. Now, I'm going to recap those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and money. But just to say, if you've yet to watch your Saturn 29-year cycle deep dive video, that's on the screen now. If you'd like to get your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning so you can have that celestial pit stop at the start of the day, please see the link below. Like to work with me direct? Please check out my testimonials below. You'd like to work with the more technical astrology that I'm using with this chart, you can get my charts 50% off by applying Astro 26 for natal and Draco 26 for the soul karmic draconic version. Please see below for more. So when it comes to relationships, Capricorn, having Jupiter in your seventh house through to the end of June, without being afflicted by Saturn, your ruler, as he was when he first arrived last June, is really brilliant. And your words can have power. And even if you feel that your words got misunderstood or there were uh, glitches around technology earlier in the time of Mercury in Pisces, things can speed up in the first couple of weeks of this month. Some sparkling encounters are possible, from flirty ones. Mars also brings extra energy to you at the start of this month. And Venus in your fifth house is lovely for relationships too. So I think it looks very bright. But as far as work's concerned, I think the moon's right at the top of your chart and it's in that link with Uranus. And I think the fact that Uranus is moving to the sixth house suggests either you're thinking about changing your work or your work could change because, unfortunately, it may be the imposition of new technology or approaches. So it's best to be ready for that. If you are up for being more speculative with your money, the square between Venus, the planet of money, week one, and the Sun from the 20th to Pluto, which can be about money, but it's in the second house, very much to do with transformation of that area, could see you up for being more speculative. But I would take all of the opportunities this month back to how things feel. And there may be times, I think, with Saturn in the fourth house, that you do need to actually just step back, have some moments of complete peace and quiet too. Have a great month, Capricorn. Wishing you all the best. Take care and goodbye.